our next speaker is born in the German geothermal capital of Munich. And the geology studies brought him up north, far up north to Svalbard in 2004. And now he lives there. I guess he fell in love not only with the wife, but also in Svalbard.
Yes.
And the Longyearbyen here by Adventfjorden. And he lives there now. In 2015, and then he worked as an exploration geologist for Store Norske Coal Company. In 2015, you started your PhD at the University of Svalbard, the University of Longyearbyen. And you're now back in Store Norske, where you're working on the energy transition of Longyearbyen.
Yes.
So we are really looking forward to your presentation.
Yes, thank you. So I'm presenting this on behalf also of my project partners throughout the years. We go up to Svalbard, 2,200 kilometers further north. Longyearbyen is the main settlement. Svalbard is an island 1.5 size of Denmark. It's a part of the Barents Shelf, so it's not like Iceland, it's not a volcanic island. I work for Store Norske, which has been the coal mining company in Longyearbyen since 1916. So since 1916, coal mining has been the main activity in Longyearbyen. Store Norske has been cornerstone company, and until the 80s, Store Norske owned the whole city of Longyearbyen. Now it's a normal community with local democracy. And it is decided that the last coal mine, Mine 7, will close in summer 25. So Store Norske has started a subsidiary, Store Norske Energi, which has the goal to look at renewable energy solutions for Arctic communities. On the picture down here, you see the northernmost photovoltaic park in the world at Isfjordadio, which we just finalized this year. So the goal is that shows a map from more than 500 off-grid communities in the Arctic. That's a normal thing in the Arctic. Many communities are off-grid, and the electricity or energy prices are very high. So we try to develop smart solutions with high renewable energy part to reduce energy costs and make the energy more green in the Arctic. That's the ambition. If we look at the geological map of Svalbard, it's quite different than mainland Norway. In mainland Norway, you have only some few spots of sedimentary rocks. In Svalbard, you have only some areas in the west and northeast where you have basement. The rest are sedimentary basins. And all the settlements, both the former settlements like Pyramiden and Sveagruva, but also the existing settlements, Ny-Ålesund, Barentsburg, a Russian town, and Longyearbyen, are all based on sedimentary bedrock. So it's more comparable to the Barents Sea or Central Europe when it comes to geology than Scandinavia. The foundation for the geothermal knowledge on Svalbard is mainly or a lot based on the oil and gas sector and research. There has been, between the 60s and the 90s, there have been drilled 18 petroleum exploration wells on Svalbard, shown on this map here. Has been shot many seismic lines, both in the fjords and snowstreamer on land seismics. Unfortunately, not very good quality, but still better than nothing. And also Store Norske has a long history of cooperation with research, academia, and the oil and gas sector. Examples are the hydrocarbon well at Reindalspasset, together with Norsk Hydro in 91, Kapp Laila also with Norsk Hydro in 94, and the scientific research well at Sysselmannbreen in 2008 with a consortium of oil and gas companies and academia. In 2008, the deepest diamond drill hole in Norway with 1,084 meters. And in the lead of UiS, the local university, with also oil and gas sector and Store Norske, we made the CO2 project to look at possibilities of storage of CO2 in the subsurface. And all this data combined with our experience from mining and coal exploration really is the base for the geothermal knowledge in Svalbard. So in 2013, we had the first project together with Christian Michelsen Research, now NORCE and NORCE, got funding by Forskningsrådet. And the goal was really to see what is actually the geothermal potential on Svalbard. So Kirsti Midthammer, she found the archive from Norwegian Polar Polar Navigation, who has been involved in most of the oil and gas wells. It's no system on Svalbard to take care of this information, so it's the companies who drilled the wells that sit on the information. And this information was almost lost, but she found it, so they gave a lot of good subsurface temperature data and geology data. We did new measurements in coal exploration wells, and we modeled the subsurface geology and thermal conditions. And we looked at the different settlements and how feasible it would be and easy it would be to develop geothermal systems in the existing settlements on Svalbard. So that was a kind of pilot project for geothermal, and the plot that also Yuri showed earlier by NGU, all the colored wells show wells on mainland Norway, and the two black ones are the temperatures in Svalbard. So you see it's a clearly higher geothermal gradient in Svalbard than on mainland Norway. But Svalbard is different in many ways from mainland Norway. In many aspects, it's only off-grid communities. That means you cannot rely on energy sources from the net. You have to have a own energy system, which is reliable. We have permafrost, which might be difficult in combination with geothermal heat. Good thing is you need heating 24/7 all year round. It's cold. Maybe a disadvantage is there are no close neighbors, so you cannot. The customers are very limited. You cannot drill one hole, high risk, and then expand your knowledge to other cities. It's not possible. Logistics are very expensive, and it's a very cold climate, so you have to use winterized drill rigs when you want to drill in winter times. We look now especially at the Longyearbyen, and Longyearbyen has a district heating system, waterborne, which is in place, which is really good for geothermal projects. Has only 2,500 inhabitants, but the energy prices now are 2.5 to 3 kronas. Real energy prices would probably be around 5 kronas per kilowatt hour. And it's easy to attain international attention. So any project that would succeed there would probably be very high impact project. On the other hand, if we don't succeed, it would probably not be good for the geothermal community. So after the project is the first project, we kind of thought what should be the philosophy behind this project. And there are many possibilities on Svalbard in sedimentary basins, but we decide we cannot afford to fail. We need a reliable system and a system where we are quite sure that we will succeed. And as I mentioned before, we cannot expand regionally, so the idea is we use a technology which we can export to other similar areas to make it more commercial and more interesting. So we landed at a deep borehole heat exchanger, low yield, but also low risk. And this is these two projects we're working on at the moment. A little bit on the energy situation in Longyearbyen. That's pictures of town of Longyearbyen. The coal power plant was shut down last October, 19th of October. The last black smoke came out of the pipe. And the plan is to test and phase in renewables during the next 6 to 10 years, and then find a stable renewable as possible energy source. Problem with the coal power plant is it's completely static. Easily spoken, it's on or off. If you add photovoltaic or any other energy sources, it just makes the costs for the community more expensive because the power plant goes anyway. It doesn't help with extra energy supplied. So that's why it was decided to go over to diesel, because diesel is very flexible, and if you add photovoltaic, it pays off right away. The plan was also to go from a very high temperature primary loop district heating system, which now is around 120 degrees, to 70 to 80, which is kind of the modern systems. As soon as diesel is running, but they realized the heat system and the pipes are that old that this is not possible yet. So it needs quite a big job to actually reach that. We don't know when this will be achieved, but hopefully by 2030 this will also be achieved. Energy demand, electric in red and heat in blue. So you see top 15, 16 megawatt in heat need, but the base load is 4 to 6 megawatt all year round. And electricity is more or less stable because all houses are heated by water. It's difficult to say how the energy need will be in the future. The biggest coal electricity consumer, the mine, is closing down. One is expecting more electrification, and more insulation in the houses, so probably will be around 100 gigawatt hours per year. Expected 50-50 thermal and electric. So the two projects we have been working on and are still working on is the one project with the GTML, Geothermal Energy Nordic, 2021 to 22, together with UiS, and we got money from Enova. Here we looked at medium deep geothermal using a deep borehole heat exchanger. The project we're working on at the moment is Realwell is project leader. OMV, Halliburton, IFE, and Total Energy has just got out, but are the partners. And there we look at a deep borehole heat exchanger without using a heat pump, directly linked to the district heating system. So in both projects, we look at all aspects and try to make good cost estimates. We look at rock subsurface geology, drilling solutions, overburden geology, permafrost, technical solutions, heat exchangers solutions, very important logistics and drilling operations, and the energy system on ground. Of course, also the legal issues and the permissions that are needed, because Svalbard has an own law for oil drilling, for example, so it's different than both offshore and mainland Norway. If we look at the well prognosis, this is down to 2,000 meters, and we will expand it downwards. It's everything you can wish for. It's hydrostatic overpressure, underpressure, décollement surfaces, it's gypsum, might be salt, might be karst. It's quite lithified rocks, and at the base we don't know if we have a Devonian basin or if we come straight into the basement. So it's, and the permafrost on top, several gas shows. We also know that there's gas just below the permafrost, so it's clear something for an oil rig and something to play for oil and gas guys, I guess. Expected temperatures are modeled here by Magnus at IFE. 2 scenarios with Devonian sediments and basement in the depth. So and this is a picture showing one of the modeling for the real well project. Temperature down with different colors are different pump rates, and the temperature up again. So low pump rates, high temperatures, and high pump rates, low temperatures, but more energy. So many screws you can screw on, and which we first will find out when we drill the first hole. So quickly on the plans for both systems, one is to drill at 2 or for the deep at to 4,000 meters, fill it up again, and then make horizontal part. And first drill a pilot or a first step with 1 or 2 wells, and then complete with 13 wells at heat pump or 6 wells without heat pump, 5, 6 wells without heat pump. So to summarize, we have these 2 projects going on. Nothing has been drilled yet, it's just concept studies. One is with heat pump, with GTML. We look at the first phase, 600 to 800 kilowatt with 2 wells, and then full scale to cover the base load with heat pump. And the real well project without heat pump, first step 1 well up to 1 megawatt, and then more wells to a full-scale solution. But it's many specialities in Svalbard. Last Friday, Store Norske, my company, got the order to look at the future energy solutions on Svalbard, and it might be that we will take over the whole energy system, take it back from the local community. But the main questions are really, what will be the total solution? We are off-grid. Everything has to fit to each other. We need electricity. Will this electricity production create enough surplus heat so we actually don't need geothermal? Many questions still open. So hopefully during this year we will know more about that and have a structurized study where we look at all aspects of that. So financing is also not cleared yet, but the ministries have said they would probably help with realizing good projects here. And then big question, what is most important for Longyearbyen? Is it low-cost energy? Is it reliable energy? Is it supply chain of the energy? So there's many aspects to it which we still don't know yet. But it's very, very interesting, and I hope really that we will manage to drill a first deep geothermal well on Svalbard. Thank you.
One question. Efficiency and cost on heat pump for medium depth.
Efficiency, you mean of COP? Or, yeah, we have looked at several alternatives. I think we calculated with a COP of 5 in this case. I mean, it's all depending on what temperature we get up and what temperature we need for the district heating system. And of course, partly the return temperature. means the efficiency of the district heating system, which is still a question mark. Costs, I haven't been directly in contact with so I don't know exactly the number on that, but we have it in a complete calculation.
Any more questions for geothermal at Svalbard? I mean, it's a fantastic project, and I think that people have been brave, saying that we want to phase out and then develop something brand new. And if you can do that in a decade or two, right, that's well done, right?
I agree.
Yeah. Did you have a comment or question, Walter?
Yeah, the energy use, the current energy use. I was surprised that the electric load is as high as the heating load.
In summer.
In summertime.
Oh, that's the summer.
It's only in summertime.
Because the heating load is low.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you take it year round. But in terms of the electric load, what's making it so high? It's not lights in the summer.
No, it's Mine 7, it's Ice Cutter radar station, it's a Svalsat satellite reception station. It's these main consumers. So it's industry, yes.
Yeah. So we have and no more questions for this fantastic project. You need to follow it. I mean, it has all the aspects, right? It's both drilling-wise, economy-wise, green shift-wise, going forward, showing something completely that you're really able to do something like that. I mean, and the vision is becoming clearer and clearer. I claim that, right? We can do this, right? And if you can do it on Svalbard, right? That shows off. Really can do something.
So I'll ask a simple question.
Okay, yeah, before lunch.
For some reason, well, with the vertical and deviated well path you showed, do you have an idea of how deep you would go before the horizontal segment?
We plan the kind of the Kapstad-Rostin for the half medium deep, 1600 meters. It's high thermal conductivity, and 3.5 roughly kilometers for the deep one.